located just blocks away on Garnett Avenue in the Vaughn's Shopping Center. Here on our location in the vendor's booth area, So Sporty has a gigantic bargain bin, unisuits, jackets, shorts, t-shirts, and more. Come on by and do some rooting. Prices as low as $1. So Sporty also has a line of clothing just for women. Stop by and check out the new products. Let So Sporty know what you're looking for, and they can help you out. And also like to have you stop by in our vendor's tent area to check your balance on the new prototype at the Concept 2 booth. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just outstanding camera coverage from 7 locations up and down our race course here, and every race is individually packaged on a DVD that is available shortly after the race, about 15 or 20 minutes or so. If you'd like to get a DVD of a particular race, stop by the merchandise tent just to the right of the Jumbotron TV camera in the university and alumni tent area. Checking on race number 78, the men's collegiate novice grand final. In lane number 1 is Stanford University. Cal is in lane 2. Washington in lane 3. UBC, that being the University of British Columbia, is in lane 4. Oregon State in lane 5, and Orange Coast College is in lane 6.
Lane 1, can you hear me? Would you raise your hand?
Well, this is going to be a barn burner of a race. This is Bob Whitford back at the starting line of the men's collegiate novice event. And yesterday, the University of California and the University of Washington just lit up this race course in this event. These 6 crews represent the best of the 21 that were in this entry. The winners of each of the heats were in assigned lanes 1, 2, and 3, and the second places were assigned 4, 5, and 6. So as we look for today, we're going to be looking basically inside to some really great boat racing between lanes 2 and 3, University of California and University of Washington.
That's good, lane 1. Lane 3, out 6.
We are still working on an alignment. We have the
good, lane 3.
Cross bow in off the port bow. That's the left side of the boat.
6. Back,
and they are having a little bit of a trouble aligning, but you can tell that they're doing a magnificent job as they're making sure that every bow ball is perfectly aligned before they raise their aligning flag, indicating they have alignment to the starter. That's when the starter can then pull the crews, make sure that each crew is ready and is in the proper lane. They will then wait to make sure that each boat has its proper point. If a boat does not, they will indicate by raising their hand. The red flag goes up, and we have a start, the men's collegiate race, men's collegiate novice. And like we guessed early on, it's the University of Washington, California, jumping out to about a seat lead over lane 1, Washington, and Orange Coast College. All boats pass the 100-meter breakage area, and it is Cal and Washington, 2 seats over Stanford University and Orange Coast College. And then it is Oregon State and University of British Columbia. Don't be fooled by the University of British Columbia in lane 4. They are rowing with Stanford blades, but they're wearing white singlets, and they are in lane 4. But right now, they are just what is so exciting in this race is that we have 2 of the magnificent premier Frost Novice boats going after it, and neither one wants to settle into this race until they've established something. So the California and University of Washington is jumping out on the field. They maintain a length lead over Orange Coast College and Stanford, then it was Oregon State and UBC. But at the 500, they are still going at it. Neither boat has settled at this point. I'm going to get you a rating on them right now. Washington and Cal have crossed the 500-meter mark. Now we start to see a little easing of the rating, but they are bow ball to bow ball between the University of Washington in lane 3 and California in lane 2. And if anything, Washington has eked out maybe half a deck. But these two boats, neither one wanted to settle until they got a lead. We look back to open water to Orange Coast College Stanford level. Then we look back out to Oregon State and then UBC 4 seats back. But Washington now, after Cal has let go of them, has worked out to 4 seats at the 750 meter mark. But it is not over yet. This has got a long way to go, but they're the first one to blink. Cal has let Washington off the hook. Washington is up by 4 seats, and then it's California, open water length over Orange Coast College outside lane 6, who maintains 4 seats over Stanford, about a length over Oregon State University, and they maintain a length over UBC. That's the call. Watch out for the Huskies from Washington in lane 3.
Men's Collegiate Novice Grand Final going on right now, and on the water in lane number 1 is Stanford. In lane 2 and 3, battling it stroke for stroke, are California and Washington. Out in lane 4, UBC, University of British Columbia. Oregon State is in 5, and Orange Coast College out in lane number 6.
Well, if you looked at yesterday's results, Washington completed this course in 6:08 and Cal in 6:14. But I don't think there's 6 seconds difference between them. I think what we're seeing here is that Cal were able to ease up yesterday, even though they still did that impressive time of 6:14. As Bob Whitford referred to, it was a case of who was going to be the first to blink. And it looks as if it was Cal, because Washington now seem to have built their lead coming through the 1,000 and coming into the third 500. If Cal are going to make a move back on Washington, now is the time that they've got to do it. We've essentially moved into 2 different boat races here. We have Cal and Washington duking it out up front, and at the back of the field we have the other 4 boats. Although Orange Coast out in lane 6 and Stanford in lane 1 seem to be the crews that are really challenging for 3rd place. Although they're both being challenged by Oregon State, with UBC falling back. But as we speak, it is Cal lifting the rating and trying to push back at Washington. The problem is that as soon as they do that, Washington, who are sitting up on them just a little bit, respond. And what a cracking race between these 2 great crews.
And on the lead through 500 or through 1,500 meters is the University of Washington. They're out there in lane number 3. Their main competition at the moment, Cal, is on their inboard side, and then there is considerable amount of open water to the far outside. Orange Coast College and Stanford University in the same general neighborhood, and then outside to Oregon State with UBC trailing. It was a bow marker to bow marker challenge during the first 750 to 1,000 meters. Check that, about 800 meters between Washington and Cal. And it was California that blinked, and Washington continued to ratchet it up, and now they have open water. It is Washington on the lead with Cal Berkeley in the 2nd spot in lane number 2. Lots of open water back to Orange Coast College, and along the shoreline is Stanford. And then we go farther outside to Oregon State and the University of British Columbia. Washington on a smooth, controlled row at this time, and they don't seem to be challenged at all by California. Both are on about the same stroke rating, so nothing much appears to be happening there. Our race is beginning to build up for 3rd position. On the far outside is Orange Coast College, and along the shoreline is Stanford, followed by Oregon State and UBC. It is Washington on the lead. A boat length and a half of open water back to California. Then much open water back to what is shaping up to be an interesting race between Stanford on the shore side, has the edge right now in Orange Coast College, with Oregon State and British Columbia trailing. We've gotten the horn indicating that Washington has completed their run and is the apparent yet unofficial winner, followed by the University of California. Cal and Washington neck and neck, but it certainly straightened itself out in favor of Washington as the race progressed. Along the shoreline, this is Stanford apparently picking up that 3rd position, and outside Orange Coast College, while still on the race course just finishing up, is Oregon State and UBC. Once again, our apparent yet unofficial leaders and winners, Washington, followed by California, Stanford, Orange Coast College, Oregon State University, and UBC.
Somebody eyeballing behind you? Looking okay? Yeah, I know. That's
A quick mention that the races are available on DVD. Each individual race is covered for your pleasure. 7 camera locations. Pick up your DVD just at the merchandise tent that has the ESPNU logo on the front of it, just to the right of the Jumbotron. So Sporty is the proud sponsor of the Crew Classic Brunch on the Bay, and would like to thank all of the volunteers who make this event